Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's me, Tyra. If you're new here, hi, hello. And if you're not new here, welcome back. If you are wondering why I have this hat on today, it's because I have a really bad hair day today. And I have these braids in my head, which you guys are going to be seeing that video. I actually filmed a video of the braids that I have in my hair like 2 weeks ago. And that video is actually dropping today. Today is Friday and the braids are old now. And my hair is getting cut. I have a hair appointment next Friday, which means my hair is going to be looking like this for another week. But I was like, I cannot get on camera with my hair looking like this, but I still need to film. So I was like, let me put on a hat. Thankfully, my husband let me borrow one of his fitted caps because that man has a lot of them and he don't play about them. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Today's video is something that was requested in a few videos that I did ago. I posted a video of things that you need to do if you are a beginner natural, things that you should know. And I asked you guys to leave down comments of the things that you want to be taught so that you can begin your natural hair journey. Some of you guys in the comments talked about high and low porosity. How do you know which one you are? What is porosity and things like that? So I wanted to follow up with this video. I really want to make this video as simple and straight to the point as possible. I feel like when I first went natural, there are videos you look up regarding your natural hair and people drag it out. Like the video is like 30 minutes long just to talk about one topic. And I kind of want to redefine that. I kind of want to get straight to the point, help you guys understand it and move on to the next point. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Porosity is basically how well your hair cuticle open or closes. But it also means how well your hair retains or absorbs moisture or water. Let's just say that you are struggling with dry hair. It could be low or high porosity. You just need to figure out which one it is. Low means that the strand is super tight. Medium means that it's tight, but it's not open, it's just like normal. And then high porosity means the hair is super loose. Those are the different categories that you will fall in between depending on what your hair type is like. Low porosity means that your hair has a very hard time receiving moisture. Your strands are very closed off. You may notice that when you go to wash your hair or sit under the faucet, your hair has a hard time actually receiving and absorbing the water, which means you're under the faucet a little bit longer than normal just so your hair can open up a little bit to start your wash day. Low porosity also looks like if you are styling your hair, you are using a certain product, maybe it's a cream, and you notice that the cream is sitting on top of your hair, or whatever product it is, it's just sitting on top of your hair and it's not really absorbing into it. That's because your strands are tight. It does not want to open. That leads to dryness, that leads to product residue sitting on top of your hair. Your hair just doesn't soak in moisture well, so you may have that white residue just sitting there a little bit longer before it actually soaks in finally. But then that's where other methods that you can use during your wash day can come into play to help you start to open up those cuticles before you wash your hair. So you can use things like steamer in the shower a little bit to allow that heat and steam to kind of like into the air to help you open up your cuticles. Now let's move on to high porosity. High porosity has no problem receiving water, but it loses it just as fast as it receives it. So when I talked about the hair strands being kind of open and having those gaps in it, that's where you're going to be losing that water because your hair is not holding it. This can also lead to dryness. Because if I'm putting moisture, if I'm washing my hair, I'm putting moisture in it, but it's like my hair is still dry, that's what happens. And it can become really frizzy. So, but this also means that it doesn't take long to dry, which I forgot to add that point for the low porosity. Low porosity hair takes a very long time to dry because your hair is not actually receiving the moisture. But with high porosity hair, you put moisture, you put your hair in, you style your hair, the next thing you know, your hair is dried up and it doesn't take too long to dry. Those are signs of high porosity hair. Medium porosity, again, that's just normal. So there's not really any special like noticeable differences that you'll see in your hair. You just pretty much do your normal routines. You know, it holds water well, maybe it becomes dry, but you can easily fix that. You just do your hair care routine and you're all good to go. You're blessed. Now that we have an understanding on what hair porosity is, let's move on to how to fix your porosity and what you can do in your daily natural hair care regimen to fix it. Of course, my #1 tip is to wash weekly, and this goes for both low and high. You want to wash weekly because it's the most basic and natural and purest form of your hair receiving moisture and water. You want to allow those strands to be submerged in water every single week, not once a month. I know some people wash their hair once a month, once every 3 weeks. In order for your hair to really receive the water hydration that it needs to be washed and cleansed. It needs to be stripped of any of that old product buildup, any natural oils and dirt and things like that that you sweat throughout the week, you work out throughout the week. You need to strip your hair of all of that so that your strands can get infused with water. When people are struggling with dryness, this is the #1 tip. You have to wash your hair. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to start steaming. This is really good for low and high porosity, specifically for low porosity, because if your strands are closed off and it has a hard time receiving water, you kind of want to help open up those strands and use heat and that steam to help open it up. And if you do steam, I would suggest steaming probably once every 2 weeks. You don't have to steam. You can steam once a week, but I would suggest once every 2 weeks. If you also need steamer recommendations, I can make a video. Drop in the comments down below if you want to see that video. After you wash your hair, you need to moisturize. You need to moisturize. You need to moisturize. You guys don't know how many questions I get on my social media platforms where people say like, after I wash my hair, it's so dry, like I don't know what to do. You generally just don't know, because that's why you're here. I'm not judging you. I'm definitely not judging you. After you wash your hair, you go in with like a leave-in conditioner, maybe a cream, maybe an oil, depending on your vibe. There's this method called the LCO method, leave-in conditioner, cream, oil. Or you can follow the LOC method, which is leave-in, oil, cream. It just depends on your vibe. There are different ways that you can moisturize, because after you wash your hair, you're going to go and style it, right? Once you style it, proper products in order to help keep your hair moisturized until your next wash day. If you guys want to see more about the LCO method or the LOC method, just comment it down below too, and I can show you like a proper routine of how to do that, how to properly moisturize your hair. For my high porosity girls, it's really important that you use oil. I know it's a bit controversial. Some people don't like oil. Some people think it is so unnecessary to put oil in your hair. Some people think it's damaging to put oil in your hair. But let me just stop those myths right then and there. Oil is not a bad thing. How much oil you use, now that can be the issue where it lies. You shouldn't be submerging your hair in oil. But if you have a nice, simple, lightweight oil, or thick, it just depends on your porosity and your hair texture and your hair type, you can use oil to lock in moisture. Oil is not a hydrant. Oil is not a moisturizer. Oil is meant to lock in the moisture from the creams, from the leave-in conditioners, from the gels and things like that. Got it? Got it. You need to deep condition, which this leads me to my next point. If you have low or high porosity, there are 2 different types of deep conditioners that you need to use. Low porosity, you need to use deep conditioners that are more water-based. And if you're high porosity, you need to use deep conditioners that are more protein-based. Because you struggle with retaining moisture, you need to use water-based products. If you are figuring out your porosity based on this video, I need you to go and check your products. Check to see if the products that I'm using fit the porosity that I have. So if you're low porosity, majority of your products need to start with water. Here's an example. This is a Thank God It's Natural Miracle Repair Deep Conditioning Hydrating Mask. Let me show you guys so you can see with your own eyes what I mean by the first ingredient being water. So it is very important for you to know exactly what products you are using. This goes for not just deep conditioners, this goes for everything. Leave-in conditioners, creams, gels, things like that. Literally any product that you put in your hair, you need to check the ingredients. I also mentioned this back in my thumbnail of the previous video that I showed you guys earlier. I said that you need to buy products based on your porosity and not your hair type. What I'm saying right now, this is what I'm talking about. If you are high porosity, a lot of your products can be protein based. When you deep condition, you need to infuse protein. Because high porosity has gaps in the strands and it loses water very easily because it has like more of a hole and gap in the strands, it makes the hair stronger to retain moisture, and it helps closes those gaps in the hair. The more you use it, the more you'll see that your hair may not be as dry because your hair is stronger. It can hold more. If you are low porosity, it is very important for you to use more lightweight products, nothing super heavy, because obviously your hair is already having a hard time opening up anyways. So if you put heavy products, heavy oils, heavy creams, heavy butters, your hair is not going to react to that super well. So you need to use water and lightweight products. High porosity is the exact opposite. You need to use heavier products because your hair loses moisture, it loses water very fast. You need to have heavier products to kind of hold you better. So you need to look at products like heavy creams, butters. I need you guys to understand this is very important. If you are buying products based off of hair type and things like that, you are completely messing up your hair. You may be wondering, is it possible to change your porosity, or have I done something to change my porosity? You can change your porosity based on how you treat it. So if your hair is color damage, chemical damage, heat damage, things like that, it's more likely that you have high porosity hair because you are disturbing and damaging those strands where it's wholly and it's opening up. I do have high porosity hair, but this hair has no color, no dye. I don't use chemicals in my hair. I have been blow drying my hair a lot more recently, but because I blow dry my hair, it's not really helping my porosity because my hair strands are already open. But that's where me using like really good quality heat protectants and things like that to protect my strands so it doesn't become worse. But yeah, so your hair strands can definitely change porosities. I have heard, I want to say I heard from another natural that she was low porosity at one point and became high porosity. And then I've heard people say that they've been from high porosity back to low porosity. That also can just come with your hair changing. Like, you don't have to physically do anything to it. It just naturally changed. And that you can't help that. Like, that's just what happens. But when those changes do happen, when you start to notice the signs, when you start to notice that your hair doesn't hold water as well, or every time you add products to your hair, it just doesn't seem like it's soaking in. Those are the signs that you have to look out for, which means that you need to be cognitive of what your hair is doing. Like, pay attention to your hair strands. Every time you have a wash day, pay attention to how your hair is reacting to products. It's very important. So I also want to show you guys how you can physically see if your hair is low or high porosity. There are a few different tests that you can do. Visualize if your hair is low or high porosity. You have the float test, you have the strand test. I did both for you guys. We're gonna go ahead and click over to that scene so you guys can see exactly what's going on. For the float test, you wanna have a cup, preferably something see-through. You don't have to have 2 cups. I did 2 because I wanted to test 2 different strands. You fill the cup up with water and then you find like an old brush and get any old hair out of it. This is me just finding some hair out of one of my detangling brushes. You submerge the strand into water and the strands will either float, sink, or stay in the middle depending on your porosity. If it stays at the top, it is low porosity. If it goes in the middle, it's medium. And if it falls to the bottom, that means it's high porosity. As you can see, mine is high porosity, so mine has sunk to the bottom. The strand test is easier and quicker. You just get a strand of hair, rub your hands across it or your fingers. If you feel bumps, that's high porosity, and if you don't, that's low. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys understood a little bit more about hair porosities. Of course, if you have any questions, drop them down below in the comment section. No question is a dumb question. I need you to just ask the question. There's no question that's a dumb question. I'm here to help you guys. That's what I'm here to do. I want to see us all on our natural hair journey together. Don't forget to leave your girl a like and subscribe. I am also filming a part 2 to this video. Deep conditioners for low and high porosity hair that you can use. So if you want to see this video, go ahead and click over to the next video. I will see you guys with another video soon. Bye. Mwah.